It is Monday, April 29th, the first day of the week, and we are coming down to the final 2 days of April. So the final 2 days of April, guys, and as I said, finally I got my first big trade. My first big trade today, as you guys know, was that $1,000 $48 gain. So $1,048 was able to profit on this, was able to get my small account just underneath the $5 mark. Here's my P&L as always. So again, very important. This press release came out at 7:35 a.m. As you could see, I bought in at 7:36 a.m. I also, as you guys know, if you guys were in chat, I typed out in chat, hey, I'm getting in on this play right now at this time. So I always wanted to go over that, of course, so everyone was fully aware of it. And as I already showed you guys, I also, again, showed you the text alert that I send out to all text alert members, which is right here. That says INTC taking a position at 195, 1,500 shares. Just came out with this PR, and that was at 7:37 a.m. So keeping you guys alert the moment I'm getting in on anything, keeping you guys alert the moment these stocks come out with anything, just so everyone is fully on top of their game, and you guys can, of course, go after it with myself. Let's talk about INTC. Because INT, if we look back at this play right here, what can we see? The stock went from 188 and spiked all the way up to 314. And it did it in a very quick manner, right? So it did it in a very quick manner. And this stock was able to spike on up. It held its gains for about 30 minutes before it did crack, 260, and then it started falling on down. So INT, yes, obviously the best area was to get in as early as possible, right around the entry that I was. But with that being said, there were a few bounce plays, right around 250 back up to $3, 250 back up to $3. And this was, another 30 minutes past again, where the stock came out with its press release before it really started dumping on off. So INT, why did the stock rip? Why did the stock spike? Why did the stock go on a nice big run? Well, as you guys could see, it came out with a big press release. Press release shows that its first drug is coming out and demonstrates improvements, right? We also have this italics bold right here talking about first phase 3 disease clinical trial in current quarter with key sites for trial launch select for active recruitment efforts underway. We also have some recent achievements that they're talking about. So it was just an overall very good press release. Whenever I see the word endpoints, whenever I see demonstrate improvements, as I said, the first thing that kind of runs to my mind is BPTH. BPTH, right here, this stock talked about having clinical updates where it talked about demonstrates meaningful clinical improvements. And BPTH was a stock that went from, again, $3 all the way up to $74, $75. This thing ran over $70 with basically the same keywords within it. So right when I saw these same keywords on INT, again, 7:35 a.m., I looked at it. I said, is there any sort of news on this play? I looked at it. I said, is there any sort of volume on INT right now? And there wasn't really any sort of volume at it. But I was saying, hey, I might as well hop in because this thing has everything I have, everything I like. Now, with that being said, I looked at the level 2. I saw that there was a spread. The bid was at around 180. The ask was around 210. And I said, all right, where can I go to possibly get filled on this? I don't want to buy up at 210 or anything. Maybe where can I go? And as you guys can see right here, all I did was limit order in. I limit ordered in at 195. So I limited ordered in at 195 at the time of 7:36 a.m. And fortunately enough, I had people sell me this play. I had people sell me 1,500 shares at 195. So that is what it's all about. Getting in on this play and being able to see this. And then as you could see at 7:35, one nice spike, 7:37, one nice spike, and then 7:38 went on the big time spike all the way on up as well. So, that was very nice. And that was awesome to see. Once the stock started falling back on down, I started selling after, again, this massive spike. Why wouldn't I sell? Well, again, this thing just went on a dollar spike. I need to lock in my profit. So I locked it in, and that came out to, again, that total of $1,048. My total small account challenge right now is currently at, if you're saying what is your current balance, my current balance is $4,878. So I was able to make a good $878 cushion right here from from a loss that I had on Thursday. Remember? So I took a loss on Thursday where I lost what, $100 or I lost $95, And I was able to, obviously get my first big win right here, keeping my losses small and letting my gains, run out. I haven't been perfect on the small account challenge though. I have not been. I've taken, I think, 2 to 3 losses, but I've won about 6 times so far. Now, with that being said, I really haven't been too great on the fact of giant gains, small losses. I've only had one big loss that really hurt me, which was that $400 one. But today was finally my first big gain to really get some fire, really get some activity, underneath me, and finally see, a nice big spike. And that was absolutely great. So I'm fired up about that. I'm fired up to, get my next trade in, and fired up to see you guys, be able to profit as well. The big thing is, I know this one was early, right? I know this one was early. A lot of people couldn't get in on this play because one, the stock, it started up at 7:35. There's a couple of issues on this one. And what was it? One, it was early. All right. Most people don't even get here until 9 o'clock. Some people don't get here until 8:30. Some people don't get here until 8 o'clock. This one happened at 7:35 in the morning. So I know some people are still sleeping. But with that being said, if I see my opportunity, I'm going to take it. With that being said, also, it didn't come out at 8 o'clock, 7:30, or it didn't come out at 7:30 or 7 o'clock. It came out at 7:35. And a lot of people take their eyes off the news streamer at like 7:32 because they're like, oh, no big, press release at 7:30. 7:35 is a little bit of an interesting time, right? A little bit of a different time. And that could have hurt it. Top of that, some people's brokers don't open until 8 o'clock, right? How many people here don't have brokers that open until 8 o'clock? So some people, again, couldn't get filled on it on that side. And again, some people, if you guys live in the West Coast, this one came out at 4:35 in the morning, not 7:35. So it just, another reason on why it was pretty early. But, with that being said, sacrifice sleep for profit. I wake up every single day. The majority of the times, I don't see anything that comes out at 7:35, or 7:45. But in this case, today was my moneymaker from this early bird press release. Right? That's what it all came down to. So it came out with this press release, hopped in, shot on up, got a lock in my profit, $1,000 gain, just like that. Now, eventually, INT did start fading on off about 30 minutes later, so there was still a very nice window to be able to make some profit, but that stock did start fading on off. And why did it start fading on off? Well, PRPO also came out with some nice hype. And PRPO started coming out with hype at around 8:30, where this thing really started taking on off, getting some good volume and getting some good attention. PRPO did have a split, a reverse stock split towards it, but PRPO also came out with the press release right at 8:35. Another little bit of an unusual time, right? 8:35, where this play, it didn't come out at 8 or 8:30. Some people took their eyes off. At 8:35, we see right here, it signed its first major service contract. So we had our first major service contract right here, and those are some great keywords, right? First, major, right? It's important. And then we also have the word contract, right? So we have the word contract right here, 2-star word. So first important contract is basically what it's saying. And what happened on PRPO? Well, again, the float got changed down to 4 million in float. PRPO did come out with a service contract, and this thing started getting some hype. 8:35, right when press release came out, came all the way from $5 and ran all the way up towards 8:22. And then the stock, came back down about what time? 30 minutes later. If a stock, guys, goes on a run from 8:30 and it starts dumping at what time? 9 o'clock. Is that a pump and dump? No, PRPO is not a pump and dump, guys. PRPO has a credible reason. PRPO has a decent float. PRPO came out with great news. PRPO has all pre-market activity. But just because a stock doesn't hold on up does not make it a pump and dump. It means, again, buyers took over and there just wasn't any more buyers to keep pushing it on up and people locked in their profit. It's the same exact thing on INT. INT held its gains for 30 minutes. And you know what? No more buyers came out, and then PRPO came out with a press release. So again, INT, same exact thing. It's not a pump and dump. The stock went from 190, shot all the way up to 315, held its gains for 30 minutes, then it fell off, right? And again, it has a great press release. There was great credibility towards it. And I just want to make sure you guys completely understand that. But other than INT, other than PRPO, we really have not been able to see too much activity today, right? We haven't really been seeing too much on the fact of what's been going on during the actual day. And that's another reason why I bought in this morning, right? All the previous top gainers, right? Doesn't matter, where we really look at. I'm just trying to think of them. Previous top gainers last week. If you guys know any, scream some out for me to help me out. MTP, I know this was a top gainer, I believe, last week. And again, this one spiked in pre-market, had a quick spike at the start of the day. This one came back on down. ATAI, no, that wasn't one. I'm trying to think of. Why some other one? ARCI. Yep, ARCI. This play, again, this stock came out last week with a very nice spike at the start of the day. Guess what happened? It started coming on down. CPRX, we can check this one out. I don't see that one too much. Oh, RHE. Yep, RHE. This was the one, again, pre-market spike, then it came back down. So kind of going into today, I was saying, hey, I got to get in on pre-market. Just like probably tomorrow. What's your mindset? I probably got to get in on pre-market. That's the time we're seeing the best activity. That's the time we're seeing the best volume. If someone says, if you're a person who says, hey, I want to see the best sunsets in the world, right? I want to see the best sunsets. When can I see sunsets? You say, oh, probably the best sunset is going to happen probably right around like 7 p.m., right? Eastern time, right? So probably right around 7 p.m. is when you're going to see the best sunset. 7 o'clock, 7:30. It's not like you show up at 10 o'clock at night and you're just like, why does this sunset stink? It's so dark out here. It's like because the sunset already happened. Or you don't show up at 2 o'clock and say, where's the sunset? Well, the sunset doesn't set for another 5 hours. Same exact thing right now. If you're saying, where are all the big time spikes? Deck, it's 10 o'clock. Where are the big time spikes? Well, the big time spikes are happening at what time? 7, 8, 9? That 3-hour window, right? And that's what we've been in for about the past week now. So that is something I need you guys to understand, that we have to be, where the hype's at. And currently that window is in the morning. Right. And so I just want to make sure everything I say, I always back up behind credibility. That's always very important to me, because I know even again with, commentary, with, let's say, alerts, with, of course, my trading. I know, again, the whole, penny stock world definitely gets sometimes a little bit sketchy. And that's why I really enforce everything I say. So if I ever repeat anything saying, oh, okay, I alerted the stock here, 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 here's my transparency here and here. Okay, this play right here, going over, why is it spiking in pre-market here and here? Because I definitely understand in the penny stock world, things kind of get a little sketchy. And number one, most important thing to me is I want to be the most transparent trader out in the whole entire, service world of penny stocks. And I also want to be credible. I want to be able to explain my facts. I don't want to say, okay, I'm buying here for no reason. No, what's your reasoning? Well, again, your reasoning is this, this, this. This not only gives you more confidence in me, that you can trust me, it's also, again, giving you guys an education. So, again, that's why I just repeat things sometimes, because I just always want to prove to you. With that being said, EMES trying to get a little bit of hype towards it. Nothing really too crazy. VERB trying to move on up. That's been trying to slowly creep its way on up right here. So VERB trying to slowly creep its way on up. Newer IPO play. The big thing that we're seeing right now is the SPY, guys. The SPY already hit today brand new record highs. And if you guys are saying, well, Deck, why is it a little bit slower in the penny stock world? Well, because as we always say, as the SPY hits record highs, if the SPY is going to lands that it's never been before, guess what? People are going to focus on that. People are either going to be probably buying, an option on a call or a put, right? If people think it's going to go higher, if it's going to go down more. We also had a press release this morning from analysts talking about right now we're in the final laps of the China trade talk. So that means that's coming to an end. So a lot of people are focusing on the markets right now. They're focusing on the indexes. They're focused on the SPY. We also have Apple coming out with earnings tomorrow. We have Google coming out with earnings today. If Google comes out with good earnings, we're probably going to shoot up to new highs. If Apple comes out with good earnings, guess what? We're probably going to shoot up to new highs. And that's been a lot of the where a lot of the volume has been at this, in the day, because what happened all last week? Why do you think we saw so many pre-market spikes last week? Because last week was the kickoff to blue chip earnings reports, and blue chip we saw like Netflix and Amazon and AT&T, and those are happening. And guess what? A lot of people are focusing on those, right? Focusing on the markets. So with that being said, a lot of people are just playing penny stocks in pre-market. And looking for those quick rips, looking for those quick runs. So that's the most important thing that we're seeing a lot of big time hype towards towards the SPY as we're breaking up some new records. We will keep our eyes peeled on, of course, everything else. But SPY right here, whenever it keeps breaking new records, the penny stock market's going to be a little slower until it gets some sort of pullback, until earnings reports end. Now, with that being said, penny stock earnings report starts up next week. So we're going to see penny stock earnings reports come on up. And when we see penny stock earnings reports, that's when we start seeing a lot of low float spikes as well. Because guess what? Penny stock earnings really aren't the most important thing to us, right? Because we're not really looking for long-term investments on these. So a lot of times companies are going to come out with penny stock earnings, and those are going to be the main press release. And then traders are going to say, well, there's no news. There's no news coming on up. But guess what? Traders don't just allow nothing to happen, week after week after week, right? Eventually, what are they going to do? We're going to see no news on penny stock earnings, and that's when we always see some sort of trend and some sort of supernovas whenever we come up to earnings reports week. So we'll be having maybe next Monday is going to be slow, or maybe next Monday and Tuesday are going to be slow because a whole bunch of earnings come out. But once Wednesday, Thursday, Friday come, some trend is going to start developing, which is going to lead to very big spikes, which would be, for instance, shippers, which would be, for instance, low float stocks, which would be, for instance, 10 a.m. breakouts, which would be, for instance, crypto plays, which would be, for instance, stocks underneath $1 start spiking, right? You guys have seen this before where we get low float stocks just all of a sudden ripping and running, and they get in those little trends. Like, I remember 2 weeks ago, how many stocks underneath $1 went on a nice big spike. You guys seen it many times, crypto plays, shipper stocks. There was one time, I talked about this last time, about a year and a half ago, where the trend was just no one even read any sort of news. It was like the whole entire world just bought whatever low float stock popped up at 10 o'clock. And, every single day we just wait until 10 o'clock. We'd see a stock pop on up, and then it turned into like a $6 spike because everyone was, noticing that trend. And eventually, again, the trend will die on out. But we just want to be the first ones to kind of discover what the trend may be, and that'll be coming on up soon. So that'll be a very fun time as well. So SPY, we got to continue keep that on watch. Again, we got Google earnings this afternoon, and then we have Apple earnings tomorrow. As that breaks new highs, obviously that's going to take some volume out of the penny stock world. There hasn't as well been any sort of stock that's been able to hold its gains in the penny stock world, right? INTC did come on down. PRPO also did come on down. So that kind of lost a lot of attention just because those are the two big press releases, which lost, a lot of buyers towards them. Right now, the SPY, guys, is looking to come back up towards the high of the day, and we're going to see if that's going to be able to continue to move on up. We also have, as well, as I already talked about, VERB, and VERB is just a low float, newer IPO stock trying to get some hype. So if you guys want to look at VERB, the best thing to do on VERB, what do you think? Just throw this thing on a trend line. That's all I would do. If you guys are in on VERB right now, the number one thing to do on VERB is just to put this on a trend line, and we can check it out. And as long as it holds, you can check it out. PRPO also looking for a little bit of a move. Do you guys have the VWAP as well, right around 550? A possible break of the VWAP right here. We could start seeing a little bit of hype. So again, two little things right here. We have VERB. VERB, if we're checking out this play, we are going to be having uptrend currently. Let me get a couple pictures right here. So you guys will be good to go until that trend line breaks. So as you guys know, everyone can hold on to VERB until what time? Until that trend line cracks, right? When the trend line cracks, that's when it's going to be done. All right, so when the trend line cracks, that's when it's going to be done. So as of now, you're good to hold it until that trend line breaks. We have PRPO, which is looking for a little bit of an ascending triangle pattern. Also, you can see it's kind of like a little flag right here. It kind of looks like if we zoomed in on it, it would be looking like this, right? So it doesn't look like it has that little bit of that triangle starting to move on up. So PRPO is trying to get a little bit of a move right here. All right, so we got PRPO trying to squeeze itself. All right, so we kind of have a little bit of a squeeze right here. Trying to make this a little bit bigger. Right, so we have a little bit of a squeeze happening over on PRPO. We can keep that on watch. And then look at this, guys, SPY. SPY right now looks like we're about to break some new record highs. I think the record high right now is right around 294 and 07. So if we start breaking out towards that area, 294, looking for a possible break. Here's 294. We may see brand new record highs. So that's going to be trying. So overall, it's been a great start. I'm extremely happy with the start of the week, as for obvious reasons. But with that being said, the markets are strong, right? We're hitting new highs. We got two earnings reports basically left. The blue chips, that's what we got left. And then, the SPY will probably calm down a little bit. Then on top of that, we go into our penny stock world earnings, and that's when we'll probably start seeing some sort of trend develop. But, of course, I'll be commentating absolutely everything. I'll go over every single thing for you guys, as always, so you guys are never missing out on anything. So awesome job so far today. Awesome work. Happy Money Monday. Very excited to see what's going to be coming on up, and, absolutely great.